All right. Happy Halloween, everyone. We are back with another horror movie edition of We Need to Have a Talk. It's even more of a skeleton crew than last time, as it is just me, Devin, joined by Justin. Yes, it's very, it's very thin around here, very thin. But that's okay. It didn't stop us from doing our duty and
Our duty.
picking out a horror movie to watch. Every Halloween season, I always make a point of watching a string of horror movies leading up to Halloween. I don't do it the entire month. It just the week before, I pick out a few
Yeah.
and watch them. And this year, I watched Event Horizon. I watched that for the first time because
Oh, you've never seen
I
that?
had never seen it before. It had just kind of came out and slipped my purview for
I saw it in the
decades.
theaters, and while I thought it was a terrible movie,
Yeah.
it deeply scared the shit out of me.
Really?
I was able to completely compartmentalize the film, critique side of myself, and then
Yeah.
like the small child that, what I
That
mean,
would be terrified
was
by that.
terrified of that movie. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
That movie was scared me so bad that I didn't want to see the commercials afterwards. I was just like, yeah, I
Really?
don't even want to see the ship.
What was so scary
I
about
don't
it?
remember, man. It was just something about the movie bummed me way out. I don't know.
Wow. That's special. I didn't think it was even a little bit scary. I mean, I'm not a kid or anything like that,
I
but
wasn't a kid either. I was in college at the time, I think.
wow, that's
But
even more special
it was
then.
pretty. I thought it was pretty scary. Although I thought it was a terrible movie.
I didn't think it was that terrible. I mean, I didn't think it was special or anything. I didn't. It wasn't one of those things where I watched and I was like, oh, okay, I see why everyone loves it and gets so much hype and whatnot. I mean, I like Sam Neill, I like Lawrence Fishburne. I think that both of them were really good in their roles. And you could definitely tell that it was a movie that came out in the late '90s from the Prodigy-esque soundtrack
Oh yeah.
and the gratuitous use of 3D, of bad computer 3D, of things floating at you towards the
That
camera.
movie I don't think was in 3D.
It wasn't like 3D
Oh
glasses, like
yeah,
just
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
CGI, the
Oh
3D
oh yeah,
CGI.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was the movie was terrible because it was an awesome ass idea for a movie. And the
Yeah.
beginning of it's pretty interesting. It's like, okay,
It
this is
kind of
gonna
has the
be
Aliens vibe
yeah.
at the start of it.
And you think, okay, this is gonna be good, and then it eventually just ends up being a Hellraiser rip. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah.
Just a dude, and it's sad
Well,
how many movies, and we're gonna bring it full circle.
yes.
How many movies actually end up the same way? That movie Sunshine, same fucking deal. Really cool idea for a supernatural or a sci-fi. You ever see that movie
No, I
Sunshine?
haven't.
Same kind of thing. Great idea. You know what I mean? But eventually, when it comes right down to it, it ends up as a
It's
fucking Hellraiser. You know what I mean? Bullshit with some dude. You know what I mean? He's all in Event Horizon. He's all cut up. I want to say in Sunshine, he's all
yeah,
burnt
he's
up. It's essentially the same fucking thing. You know?
yeah. Well, and it's funny that Justin mentions Hellraiser because that was the movie that triggered the whole let's get together and talk about this because for the first time I did sit down and watch Hellraiser. And that was one of those movies. I distinctly remember when I was a kid, there were three movies that I never watched, but my dad had like the VHS of, and I would see it, and I would just looking at like the cover or whatever would scare me too much to even try to watch it.
Whoa.
One was Hellraiser. One was I think it was a Nightmare on Elm Street. I can't remember which one. It must have been two or three or something like that.
Yeah.
The other was Shocker or something like that.
Shocker.
It
Wes
was
Craven.
Wes Craven
Shocker.
Shocker. It was the prisoner sitting on the
Yeah.
chair. When I think about it now, it sounds. I really want to watch it because it sounds goofy.
I've actually seen it.
Have you? Is it as bad as the cover makes it look?
It's not so good, but I don't remember much about it. I do remember that it has the guy from Blade Runner, not Roy Batty, but the other dude,
Okay.
the dude that blows his shit in the very beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's got that guy's the main guy.
Okay. Huh.
You know? Yeah.
I'll go back one of these years and give old Shocker a try. I was hesitant about Hellraiser at first because I did have the old childhood thing that came back like, oh man, that looks way too scary for me to watch. But I braved the dangers. This on Netflix, so it cost me it cost me
Yeah.
$9 a month, but I pay that for other things,
Yeah,
and
sure.
this just came along with the ride. And man, I don't really quite know what to say about what I watched. I spent the entire time watching that movie going, what is this shit I'm looking at? Like, what is
Yeah.
happening?
It was surprisingly bad. Like my backstory with with Hellraiser is I saw Hellraiser 2 as a 11-year
Yeah.
old. I was spending the night with my friend Zach, and his dad had rented it, and we watched it. And that movie scared the shit out of me. Of course, maybe that's not saying anything because Event
Yeah.
Horizon scared me when I was in college. But that movie really scared me. It was like I was just really. I don't. And the plot didn't matter. It wasn't like I was 12 years old. It's just like
Yeah.
there was some scary shit in there, and it was very scary. But having watched this movie, so I had much higher, I think, expectations for
Oh,
Hellraiser
okay.
1.
I see.
You know
I
what I
see.
mean?
Yeah.
And when I watched it, I was just like, well, this isn't what I thought at all.
Yeah. I came in with no expectations aside from, just I've heard people that said that they liked it. It's kind of a polarizing movie. A lot of critical opinions either really like it and they laud it for its visual effects and
Yeah.
its uniqueness of
I think
the story.
people that don't give two shits about whether or not a film is a good movie or not probably think it's great because of its kitsch value and its gore. Some people just really love gore.
There's a lot of people that like gore, and I'll give this movie that. Like,
it's got lots of gore.
it's got gore, and some of the practical effects are pretty well done.
Yeah,
but
I
if
guess
that's not your thing,
to me, it's like what sells a practical effect is like context and all that other stuff. And
yeah.
and so while the movie had some pretty interesting effects, especially for the time and everything, the context was so shitty that
The context,
most of it was wasted as far as its impact for me. I mean, it still seemed fake as fuck. You know what I mean?
So the story for that you dive into from the onset, it introduces you to this guy Frank, who
Right.
and there's a thing. Okay, I watched. What did I watch? Hellraiser 1 and 2 are both on Netflix, and I watched both of those. And I watched there was a really shitty 2011 Hellraiser movie. It's the ninth in the series that wants to give you any indication on the potential quality
Dude,
of that series.
You know the guy who plays Pinhead? It's the only acting gig he gets.
Oh, he did, but this was the first one he wasn't
Oh,
Pinhead in.
oh wow.
He was Pinhead in all the others except for this one.
Maybe he got too old.
This Hellraiser Revelations was filmed on a $300,000 budget and shot in a 2-week time span.
Wow, probably the first $100,000 went to the license.
Probably. They're saying that that the reason why it was even produced is because Weinstein Company was about to lose the rights to it if they hadn't produced something. They've been going back and forth with Clive Barker on doing an actual remake of the first Hellraiser, but it's in quote-unquote development hell. So in order to retain their license, they just shot out that terrible Hellraiser movie that didn't even have the original guy playing him and all sorts of the stupid shit. But the one thing that they all have in common is whenever people are solving the puzzle box, they're always sitting in the middle of a room with the thing. Like, I've done a lot of puzzles before in my life. I've never put it on the floor in the middle of a room.
It's never like they're in the waiting room at the dentist, and it's like over there on a table, and they're just like, "Well, fuck."
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
instead of the dentist, it's Pinhead. He's like, "Raw," time to clean the. That would be funny.
That actually would be a pretty good sketch idea. But so you're introduced to Frank, who is sitting on the floor in
Surrounded by candles.
He's surrounded by I don't know.
Frank seems to me like they kind of make him. He's like a world traveler. He lives hard.
Yeah.
He's kind of squatting there. Probably got a drug problem. Maybe he's
he definitely has a
Lady
drug
H.
problem.
You know what I mean?
Well, and that's the thing. It was like he explains it in the movie at some point where he has exhausted all carnal pleasures, and that is the reason why he's pursuing. Apparently, there was he during his worldly travels in Morocco somewhere, he happens upon a story of a puzzle box where if you solve it, it will open up new realms of pleasure and carnal
and
delights
pain.
for you.
He actually says pleasure and pain.
Pleasure and pain. I guess that was alluring to him. He's into that
honestly,
sort of thing.
to me, it seems like I remember at one point my friend Zach and Nate they had like a mutual friend. I wasn't friends with this guy, but it was a guy that they knew, and they went to like a party called a suspension party. This is in the 90s.
Oh yeah,
where they basically like
just have the
hung the
hooks.
fucking guy from the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, and they came back like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
We saw some wrong shit. But like when you talk to people, they're into that. They're like, oh, you don't understand, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? I have
Yeah.
a feeling that there was a certain degree of like
There's
fetishist aspect to Hellraiser. You know what I mean?
well, and
I would have. I would imagine.
not talking, but reading the interviews about it with Clive Barker, he had to cut a lot of eroticism out of it for the censor. So like, playing the original script, I guess maybe played a little bit more to that aspect of Frank's life. You don't get it in here. Instead, what you get is just some dude who, for whatever reason, he's exhausted all carnal pleasures and appears to be just like the worst person in the galaxy.
He is the worst person.
There's no real character
he's
motivation
a terrible,
for him.
terrible
He's
person.
just a horrible fucking human being. And the first thing he does, he solves this puzzle, and we can talk about the puzzle later. That's
He's
a
like
whole
a
other...
one note too, because in the beginning he's like right out of like West Side Story. You know what I mean? He's like a shark or something. You know, he shows up.
He is a little bit like that. Okay, he solves this puzzle. Fucking hooks fly out of nowhere and rip him to shreds. And then you fast forward, and his brother is moving into this house, the same house that he was in, with his, I guess, new wife or whatever. And he's trying to he's such a dork. He's a dorky character.
It's so sad too, because you know what? It's almost like whoever wrote the script like goes to like those like men retreats where they teach dudes how to pick up chicks. You know what I mean? And it's like it's like a before and after. It's like you know, it's like the brother is like mystery or whatever the dude is that you know, and then the other guy is the guy. It's like I just can't get him to stay. I don't know. You know, it's almost comical. He's scared of blood. He cuts his hand. He's like, I'm gonna pass out.
That was weird. That was
It's blood. I can't take it.
That was.
I can't take it. It's really scary.
So he and his wife move into this house, and they go into the room, I guess, that Frank died in, and they see all of his stuff there. And
they don't know he died. He's just gone.
He's just gone.
He's like, I don't know. Maybe he's in jail somewhere.
Maybe he's in jail. They don't really seem to care. I don't blame him. He does seem like a huge douche.
Yeah.
But I guess he left his box with the porn pictures right by there.
Which she like immediately went through and like, you know. And I guess those pictures were the way that the script tells like the viewer like this guy.
Yeah.
He's been around.
There's something not right with this guy.
Yeah. He keeps a box of girls, or it seems like all the same girl.
All the same girl. And just, you know, various forms. He's choking her in this one. Ooh, he's not quite right. But for whatever reason, he must have great dick, because this girl, Julia, is all about him to an unreasonably psychotic degree.
Well, the thing is she's all about him before she even gets any dick. It's like he just like shows up and he's like, "Can I come in?"
Yes, okay. The flashback.
Do I get a fucking towel? And she's like, "Jesus, here. Wrap yourselves in the folds of my vagina." You know, it's just like,
that's exactly the flashback when she's looking at these pictures. Yeah, it flashes back to, I guess, their first meeting, and they meet almost like their interaction is almost like he's a stranger off the streets. Like he's the dude's brother. Their meeting should have been way more.
And he came back for the wedding.
He came back for oh my God, in the wedding, he was staring so staring daggers at him. Like he's sitting there, he's got like that perfectly shaved 5 o'clock shadow, and he's just kind of staring at him in the middle of the wedding.
Did they actually do the scene from the wedding?
Oh yeah, he's standing in the back in the wedding, just staring at him.
I just watched it, and I have no recollection of a wedding taking place.
Oh, it was a very brief flashback. I can't even remember.
There were a couple of moments where if I felt like it was lagging, I just kind of like, no, you know what I mean? I checked the scenes.
Honestly, that's most of the movie.
Yeah, it is. There's a whole lot of them walking around this house.
Yes, they're walking around the house, and they're not really. When you look at the cover of Hellraiser and you see Pinhead and you know what the Cenobites are,
it's like the No Man's Sky of shitty horror movies.
Yeah, you want
false advertising.
You're thinking you're gonna get all that sort of stuff. Like, oh man, this is just gonna be a great supernatural horror movie. There's gonna be all this great scenery or all whatever. There's gonna be chase scenes or something. Anything. Most of the movie is about this woman seducing men and killing them, and then weird drama between him, Frank, and Julia, and I guess Larry was the other guy's name.
Yeah, I like how they like Frank makes her kill all the dudes.
Yeah, why does she have to? If she brings them to that room, he should have been perfectly capable of killing them himself.
The funny thing too is that so what happens is, for those of you who haven't watched it, is Larry cuts his hand on a fucking nail, and the blood of the nail from the nail cut lives on the floor and soaks into the floor. And I guess for some reason, like Frank's essence was still in the room because he got ripped apart by fish hooks in that room when he fucked around with the Rubik's Cube from hell. And And so he somehow, the blood literally takes him from nothing to like a fucking corpse who can move around
And this
and
is
do
where I
shit.
would say, like, if you're one of those people that like gore and practical effects, this was like probably one of the best scenes in the movie from that regard.
Yeah, sure.
It's well done, and it's kind of creepy. Frank's remains, I guess, I don't know how it got under. It was under the floor. It was like under the ceiling or whatever. And once the blood soaked into the floor, he started to reconstitute himself just enough to where when Julia comes into the room and accidentally happens upon his disgusting body, you know, she freaks out. But then he's like, "Hey, it's me, it's Frank," and like I guess that's all it takes for her to not be freaked out by a shambling corpse.
She's like, "Does your wiener work?"
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's get back to business.
Yeah, the funny thing is that like he's like, I need blood, bring me, but the funny thing is like from like guy 3 till the end of the movie, he does not improve at all. You know what I mean?
He improves a little bit.
Really, after guy 3, he's pretty much just a gooey mess all the way to the end of the movie, where then he just jumps in some dude's skin, and I'm like, was that always an option, bro? Because it seemed like you could have a lot less conspicuous and easier. She could have brought the first guy. She found an attractive guy and brings him to you, and you jump in his skin, and that's done. Moving on.
Yeah, I didn't get that. That took me for a real loop too. So. Just to explain the other side of this story, we're talking about Frank and Larry and Julia and their weird shit. Like, Julia decides to help Frank by seducing men at bars, bringing them back to that room. She kills him with a hammer, and then Frank, I guess, some kind of vampiric act. He drinks their blood or whatever. He doesn't really eat them or anything.
He puts his finger in their neck somehow.
Yeah, he puts it like in the back of the head.
Shittiest like sucking sound. It's like a straw through a fucking milkshake. It's like, you know.
So while that's all going on, Larry's daughter is also in town. Kirsten or something like that. Kirsten. She's also in town, and she's not
hot.
Well, of course she has to be.
I mean, that's.
But she doesn't want anything to do with the house or with.
No,
she doesn't
She doesn't dig the other chick.
Yeah, she doesn't like the new mom. She doesn't trust the new mom. I guess because maybe did they know? Was it common knowledge that Frank and Julia were having an affair behind Larry?
They never go into it, but at one point they say something that made me think that maybe he knew at some point.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it was. It's like she. Damn it! I think it was left specifically vague.
Yeah, it seemed to be like at least Kirsten or Chris. I wish I could remember her name.
Let's just call her Kirsten.
Let's call her. I'll call her K.
K.
It seemed
special K
or positive K, whichever one did that Not an Addict song. But it seemed to me like she knew. Like, because like she was very suspicious. She thought that I think she caught Julia bringing dudes over, and she
did earlier. But that's what made her show up to like, you know, to fucking to get the whole third act going. Is that she saw bring a dude back, and she was like, I got to get to the bottom of this.
Okay. Yeah. So Kay is hanging out in town. I'm not quite sure what she's doing. She's just kind of there. It's her goofy ass dad. She likes, but she doesn't really seem
She likes him. She likes
him. Yeah, but I mean, she's keeping the distance. Like, she doesn't want to be around Julia. She's not really. She's a pretty ancillary character until she happens upon the adultery scene, which is odd because again, this is the first 2 acts of the movie. It's like most of the movie you're following Frank and Julia, and every now and then Kay comes in and out. She dips in and out of the story, and she has a boyfriend for whatever reason that was necessary.
Like he plays bass in Oingo Boingo. You know what I mean? What's crazy about this movie is like everyone in the movie, for the most part, except for Julia, is British. Or no, is American.
Yes.
Yet it's very obviously in Britain.
Yes.
We are very obviously in the UK.
It's a British movie.
The house is in the UK. Everybody in the movie, and then of course a couple of the guys that she meets out that she brings back are British guys.
Yeah.
But anyone who's ever been to the UK knows what the UK looks like. We're obviously in the UK, yet everyone's American. It's almost like they were trying to pull a fast one on us, you know?
Yeah. They never really. Well, I guess the location doesn't really play into it at all. So they were just trying to they were trying to Americanize it enough to where the movie wouldn't seem foreign to Americans that tried to watch it at the time. That's my only explanation for that.
When did this movie open up did it go into the theaters?
Yeah, I believe so.
Wow. I'll be
Yeah.
damned.
So anyways, um, I'm watching this movie for the first. All I really want to see, all I'm interested in, are the Cenobites, who sound delicious, by the way. But I just want to see them show up, and I want to see them being menacing, and I want to see how they are evil, how they ply their craft, right? It takes an hour and 6 minutes before you even get a whiff of those dudes. An hour and 6 minutes after the opening scene with Frank.
Yeah.
Most of the movie is just that bullshit with Frank, with Julia, and all of them. And to me, that is unconscionable. Like you cannot do that to your audience. But once Kay goes into the house and discovers the affair is going on, like, oh my god! And Frank has the worst catchphrase ever, the worst identifying catchphrase of all time.
Maybe what was it?
Come to daddy.
Oh, did he say that before?
He said that. Yes, he said it like 3 or 4 times. He said it. He said it in a flashback. That was one of the things he first says to Julia in the kitchen, I think.
Yeah.
He says, "Come to daddy," and then he said it to. I think he said it to her again when he was a
he
shambling
definitely
corpse.
says it to Kay,
and he said it to Kay
when he's her dad and her daddy's body.
Yes, and that's what
the...
gives it away. There was a point in this movie where she was in a hospital.
Yes.
What happened there?
It's got to be the shittiest hospital ever, because at no point is like she tries to get up. They're like, "Hey, don't get up," and the door's locked.
They locked her in there,
and the cops are going to. Oh, and here's this weird cube. Just think about this shit for a while. You know what I mean? They put it on a table, like facing her. I thought like that whole thing was supposed to be some kind of fucked up dream. It was so fucking dumb. And then later on, I realized like, no, that was actually
real.
The hospital. Wow.
I thought I imagined it. That's why I was like, was she in a hospital?
Again.
It was very weird. If I'm mistaken, I believe so. What happens was she runs into Frank and she gets the box somehow. And then Frank is like, "No, don't touch that, blah, blah, blah." He tells her that the Cenobites are after him, which, I don't know. He didn't really seem very eager to get away. He just kind of hung out in that attic for a while. Even after he had flesh and all of that stuff, he still just kind of hung around.
It was so fucking dumb. If he was actually scared of the Cenobites, you think he would have jumped in the skin of the first dude she brought back.
Yeah, and then
or at least the third dude she brought back. You know what I mean? But he didn't do that.
No, he just kind of hung around.
Yeah, and it's like they're gonna find us eventually. But he didn't tell Kay that. Kay got the box and like threw it through the window.
He told Julia that.
He told Julia.
Yeah,
that.
okay, so that's what happened. She threw the box through the window, and I guess Frank was really distracted and angry about that, and she used that opportunity to bolt. She ran outside, she grabbed the box, and then hospital?
Yeah, well, no, she just passes out. We're not really sure why she passes out, or at one point, like some dudes are just looking down at her. One guy has like a Yankees cap on. I'm like, dude,
it's right. Good old America.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
He was eating a hot dog,
and he's like,
and had a flag.
Okay? Yeah, it was ridiculous, dude. So fucking lame. But I was just like, okay. I don't even know why she passed out. And
Jesus. But okay, so she ends up in the hospital, and they lock her in the room with the box, and then she starts fiddling around with it.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say that one of the coolest things that I thought about the movie, that was in the movie, was when the puzzle is solved, the way that reality kind of tears away. And, the door that led to the hallway leading to hell, I thought that looked really cool. There was a lot of visually cool stuff that was happening in the world. But none of it really amounted to much of anything. Like,
no, I mean, it almost seemed like someone had approached Clive Barker, and he was like a special effects guy, and they were like, "Hey, you could get on some really big movies if you could really show what you could do." And so he like wrote a script basically just to show off some monsters he could make.
Well, this movie was based on a short story that he wrote called The Hellbound Heart. And I guess that was the impetus for making this movie, but maybe that's the shortcomings of converting a short story to a movie. You've got to fill in all the other blanks elsewhere.
I can see how it might have worked better as a short story.
It may have worked better as a short film.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is that, like, there's a lot wrong with this, if we're just going to be honest, you know what I mean? If we're just looking at it as a film, there's a lot wrong with the basic. First off, the characters are fucking terrible.
The character, none of the, I didn't want to root for any of them.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, honestly, the Cenobites were almost the heroes by the end of it.
Yeah, but of course, then the Cenobites, you know, she like brings them the dude. They have a deal, but then she's trying to escape. They're like, "Where do you think you're going?"
Like, well,
it's like,
now we're
a deal, motherfucker.
Like we gotta be villains in this. This is a horror movie, not a superhero movie.
Yeah,
so now we're just gonna flip the script and be awful again.
Yeah, we're gonna get her too, because we're fucking assholes.
Why not? Oh, when she was in the hospital and that hallway opened up, the first thing she did was walk through it.
Yeah.
Why? Why would anyone ever do that?
Yeah, I mean, why would anyone ever fuck with the little thing? So she got it from a dude.
I can understand
with
why
no
she would,
skin.
though.
You know what I mean? Not me. You know.
Well,
I mean,
she probably didn't understand because they call it a puzzle box, but I don't get what the puzzle is. All they seem to do is just kind of grope their fingers around it, then it activates.
Yeah, I know, but like, if I had gotten it from a dude with no skin, I'd be like, before I start fucking with this thing, I need to know what it's about. You know what I mean?
You take it a Tobin Spirit Guide when you come across an arcane artifact.
Yes, in the hands of a man with no skin.
In the hands of a skinless man. You don't fuck around with it. She broke that rule.
Never solve a puzzle box from a skinless man.
Never solve a puzzle box, period, that you get from a Chinese dude offering you weird pleasures.
Yeah.
That seems like a bad news from the start.
A Chinese stereotype.
Never
take a box from a Chinese stereotype.
That was a pretty bad stereotype.
That's actually a good thing in any movie. If you ever encounter a Chinese stereotype, don't take what he gives you. If he gives you a gremlin,
gremlins, no.
No, don't take it. Just sorry.
Just get out of there. Yeah, so how does she get out of the hospital?
They don't actually say.
I think so. She ran through eventually because there was a monster in that hallway that was chasing her, and she ran through it. The portal to hell closed off.
They don't actually show.
Wait.
Basically, what happens is
she
comes
when
back, and then the Cenobites
show up.
Called trilobites. The Cenobites show up, and they're like, "We're gonna fucking destroy you." You know?
Yeah.
She's like, "Well, let's make a deal." And they're like, "Okay, sounds pretty good."
Yeah, they're like,
but
somebody's
don't try and fuck us, you know. And then they just cut to some other shit, you know. And then like they cut back. And she shows up at the front door of the house. You know, it's like they don't show her actually getting out of the hospital, but they do show like her boyfriend showing up in the hospital, and he's like, "Where the fuck is she?" And
yeah, that's
like,
right.
Well, we don't know. And he's like, "Well, she was here a little while ago."
What was the point of that character? The boyfriend.
I don't know.
He didn't really do anything.
He didn't really have much of a point.
No. She shows up back at her house. And oh my God. Meanwhile, at the house, my favorite scene of the movie. So, Larry, I guess, for whatever reason, Larry is just good to go. And he is pulling Julia to the bedroom, and he throws her on the bed. And they just start making out in a really weird way. And she's on the bottom, and he's on top.
With the rat?
He's on top, yes. and suddenly, Frank walks out of the closet, and Julia sees, and he pops his switchblade, you know, and then he walks over. He starts slowly.
He must have been hell on wheels with that switchblade. You know what I mean? It's like, when was the last time you were scared of somebody with a switchblade?
He's got a bad rep with that switchblade. Yeah. You know, in America that's funny, but in London, a guy with a switchblade is like the deadliest man in the world.
Take over the whole city with that.
Yeah.
Thing.
So he has the switchblade, and he's slowly walking, and she sees him, and then she just starts going like, no, I can't bear it. But like Larry is oblivious to this really odd thing that she's starting to say. Like, I can't bear it is a really, no, I get that.
Dude, she was the kind of girl who would be all about this dude, Frank, like cutting her clothes off within like 15 minutes of meeting him.
Yes.
There's no telling what kind of weird shit she says during sex. You know what I mean? Larry might be used to hearing all kinds of wacky shit.
Fair enough.
No, I can't bear it might just be, you know.
Fair enough. To me, that sounded really strange. But I guess maybe Larry's been around the block with this girl for a while.
Yeah.
She's probably said some straight stuff. But that's not the weird shit. The weird shit is, for whatever reason, Frank slowly creeps up and he has a rat in his hand. And then he takes his knife and he slowly peels some skin away like he's peeling a fucking potato. And then he just backs off back into the shadows.
I can only imagine that maybe there's a whole section on like rats and their significance to the whole thing that we're missing somehow.
Maybe I'll have to look up rat mythology. But
I mean,
isolated in the context of the movie,
at all.
It was
terrible.
fucking bizarre.
It almost seemed like something they just did to be bizarre. It's just
like art house kind of weirdness.
And there was that thing. It was like this movie was so fucking terrible, but it occasionally would just like fall back on like arty stuff.
Yeah.
Like when the flower, like he's all bloody and the flower like,
would
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like, ooh, you know, someone decided that they needed to impress a girl with a beret, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know.
Or the worst in the world. Kay eventually gets back. Frank is in Larry's skin. Don't know how that happened, but I guess it happened. And
however it happened, it was like he went in through the hair because there was like blood at his hairline.
Yeah, there's blood just
like,
coming down. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
But Kay figures out that she's Frank because he says fake Larry says to her, "Come to daddy," his old catchphrase. For some reason, he can't kick that habit.
Yeah.
You know, and then
not even for a little while.
Not even a second. Not even to just, you know, help himself get away from those hellish Cenobites, which apparently aren't as threatening to him as he thought because he's still hanging around this
Not
place.
even remotely scared of him.
No, he doesn't give a shit. You would think that at the moment when she realizes that he's Frank, she would have been like, "Oh, I got to get that Cenobite action going on here. This is the dude I made a deal with for, you know." But
totally.
she's still running from him, and that causes also like Frank stabs Julia for whatever reason. She tries to stab Kay, but ends up stabbing Julia.
I don't even think he tries to stab Kay.
That's what happened though. He was going after her with a switchblade.
Yeah, but I think he actually killed Julia.
He ended up doing that.
Yeah, no, I think he was doing it on purpose. Like I watched it a little while ago, and it seemed like he just decided to take that opportunity to kill Julia. Like he had no intention of actually running away with Julia. He just, I think, decided that he was gonna drain her, and he did it right there. I think honestly, what they were suggesting is, and I could be wrong about this. Like I think it was a misdirect. Like you think he's gonna stab her, then he just stabs her. You know, I don't know. Maybe it was an accident. But
that's possible.
It seemed that what I got the vibe is that Kay was hot.
Yeah, he wanted to bone Kay.
And he'd moved on.
Yeah.
And it was Julia's comeuppance. You know what I mean? It's like, bitch, you knew I was a snake kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Okay, I could buy into that. That sounds plausible too. But for whatever the situation that led up to it, Julia's dead. He fucking drains her of blood. He goes up to the room to get Kay, and that's when the Cenobites show up. And, you know, it's game over for Frank. Those chains with the hooks come out of nowhere and just hook him up. And then, in probably the single most terrible moment of art film bullshit history, right before they tear Frank apart, he goes, "Jesus wept." Ha 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 ha. And then they rip him apart and he explodes. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's almost like they had that. We really want to be on his face, you know.
Yeah,
we really want to show like the special effects.
Right.
And it's like we got to think of something for him to say.
He's got to say something. They must have had like a huge list of things for him to say. Yeah. And they were like, life's a bitch. No, scratch that off.
I bet you at one point it was probably "Come to daddy." You know what I mean? And then they were just
probably,
like, you know, that's just like we can't. It's too on the nose, man. We've already beaten that horse.
They beat that horse pretty brutally in this movie.
That's what else would you say? And then Clive Barker was talking about, "I've got an idea, man." He's like, it would be dark and disturbing, I think, to say Jesus wept. Okay, we're going again.
Jesus wept. Yeah, that sounds great. Actually,
that's great, Clive. Yeah,
I think that really touches at the religious undertones of this movie.
Exactly. He's like, I knew it was good. Okay, let's roll. Let's roll.
Man,
how many takes of Jesus wept they had to get?
It had to be one because I mean, all the facial prosthetics that were around it.
We can only do one of these.
You can just do it. Costs $10,000 to make one face that gets ripped apart.
You need to sell us Jesus wept. I need to feel the tears of Jesus.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So when Frank gets ripped apart, that's when the Cenobites, turn on their deal. They're like, "We're coming after you anyways, Kay." Super anticlimactic. She solves the puzzle. It
So
sends him.
fucking
It
lame.
sends him back
Sends
to
them
hell.
back in like the shittiest, like old school special effects ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just a really, really huge letdown of an ending to a movie that really didn't build up to much of anything to begin with.
That's the funny thing is I actually watched The Changeling last night
Yeah.
on YouTube. It's actually on YouTube. You can watch the whole movie. And so it was interesting watching a horror movie. It's not really a horror movie. It's just different. A movie that actually has intrigue
Chops.
and scares and filmmaking chops. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then comparing it with this, which it just kind of seems like a student film with a bad one
Yeah. I
blown
mean,
up way longer than it needed to be.
it could have been. It had some neat ideas, and I think there are things in media that have taken from it. Well, the one thing that I thought about the most, I know you don't watch anime. One thing that I thought about the most when watching this was it was a lot like an anime called Berserk, because in Berserk there is an item that one of the characters carries that's a lot like it's not a puzzle box. It's a weird egg with a face on it. But when
Yeah.
the face is reconfigured, then reality tears away from around him, and four ghastly demons who are also angels, demons or angels, I guess, depending on whatever, appear, and they also, I guess, they grant a wish or whatever. It's weird.
Demons to some,
Angels to others. I didn't get that part.
Yeah.
Like
I was
what?
like, I don't know what kind of weird dudes you're showing up to.
Yeah,
but
exactly. Demons to
demons.
some, angels to people that don't know what
Yeah.
angels and demons actually are. Dyslexic people
Exactly.
that get the concept mixed up. We're angels to them, demons pretty much.
Angels
We're
to
demons.
some, demons to some, angels to mainly Marilyn Manson and Billy Corgan. That's about it, really. Those two guys.
Demons to some, angels to practically no one. But
Yeah.
one guy thought we were kind of neat, so I'm gonna slip that in our CV.
Yeah, it was rough.
It was.
I mean, I would definitely say that the character designs, are iconic. You can't.
The character designs are
and have
iconic.
influenced. I mean, we started this whole conversation with talking about, you know what I mean. And when I say like, it almost like the concept, the conceit, almost is more to what you see in Hellraiser 2, where it actually kind of goes into the origin stories.
Yes, and I did
of
watch
the
Hellraiser
characters.
2. I honestly didn't like that part. It really took the mystery and the threat out of the Cenobites. And that's really the only reason why you watch Hellraiser anyway, so you can see the cool
Yeah, but
alter
basically,
reality.
what it does though is it so in Event Horizon or in Sunshine or in a bunch of other movies.
Yeah.
It gives the kind of going native thing a whole new. It's that kind of deal where you've got a regular guy, who through supernatural means is now
Yeah.
contorted into this
Into
super
this,
enemy.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's basically like your evil host
Right.
to whatever house of horrors you find yourself. Whether it's a spaceship or
Lovecraftian horror. Something happens to an unsuspecting someone who ends up being engulfed in
Yeah.
whatever crazy, weird, otherworldly darkness. Yeah, that is the Event Horizon and Hellraiser definitely share that theme. In the second Hellraiser movie, I don't know how much of that you remember.
Not a lot. I know there was a girl and she had her skin torn off, and then she had to get some skin again.
Well, it was Julia. She came back.
Really, Julia comes back.
Yeah, that was the whole thing because she at the end of
I'll be
Hellraiser,
damned.
at the end of the first Hellraiser, for whatever reason, after Frank kills her, he ties her to that bed or whatever.
Oh, and
So-
she's got the. They show
she
her. And
has
she's
the-
got the fucking box. The girl takes the box from her, but she's got the box for a second.
Yeah, she has the box when she was in that bed, tied down to that bed. In Hellraiser 2, the police, because Julia's in the insane asylum because they think she's crazy, her family's all dead and all that, and they're investigating it. They took that bed and they gave it, I guess, the police department. Somebody in the police department had connections with psych doctor or whatever at this ward who was secretly he knew all about the Hellraiser cult or whatever and was studying it and all that. So he purchased the bed and had it in his thing in his study that was deep underground. It's kind of funny. Like, it's like a insane asylum, and he goes to the elevator and presses the secret button, the button really far, and underground, all of a sudden, it's like a fucking
It's under
house of
a
torment.
piece of tape. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's like a fucking haunted house down there with crazy people, like comic book style crazy people. He takes one of them and he kills him, or he cuts him. He gives him a razor, because I guess this guy, I don't know. He gives the guy a razor, and he's on Julia's bed. He starts slicing himself up for no reason. And once all that blood goes in her bed, like, she is reconstituted the way Frank was in the first one. So she comes back, and I guess there are other puzzle boxes or whatever. He has a collection of puzzle boxes, and he gives one to a girl patient who is a mute, but she's, I guess, also a genius and knows how to solve puzzles and whatnot. So, of course, she's
saw her, like, upstairs. He's like, "Ooh,
I have special use for you."
Exactly.
You know. So you get that guy, and I think that was a really cool thing in the second one. You get that guy's origin because he, through that, she's sitting in the middle of her room on the floor, also solving this puzzle. But
doesn't Julia become one of the Silobites by the end of it, or trilobites,
No.
Cenobites?
No, she kills Frank's spirit, I guess, because he comes back for some weird reason. That she deals with him in an act of revenge, and she, I guess, is still after skin or whatever. She gets skin from something. I don't know. It's weird. She, like, it took Frank like 50 bodies to get somewhat feasible. She kills one person and is back to normal.
Yeah.
Which
Which is probably the way it would work. I think Frank just didn't know what he was doing.
Frank was just.
I don't think he
Frank
was
was a novice.
Yeah, I don't think he was the smartest.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. The doctor becomes a Cenobite. When he goes into the other world.
I remember someone becomes a Cenobite.
Yeah, he's the one that becomes. He actually kills all the other. He kills Pinhead. He kills the other ones. Because he had a picture of a general from World War I on his desk, and when Kay and some other dude were investigating his office, she took it. And when later on in the movie, when she's confronting Pinhead, she shows him the picture. He's like, "This is you." Blah blah blah.
So Kay comes back in
yes,
Hellraiser
like
2
she's
as well?
she's the main character in Hellraiser 2.
Oh goddamn! See, I hadn't seen the first one, so I thought.
Yeah, so
I
you
didn't-
just thought,
I
yeah.
didn't know who these people were.
Yeah, it was a continuation of the first one. Which I know probably is a bummer to you now, having seen the first one.
Yeah, I know. A little better. Just
Yeah,
I didn't remember much about it.
it was better than the first one, but I don't think that says much.
No, the first one was really rough. The first one wasn't even like at all scary.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was really tiring. I was just exhausted by the build up to nothing. Like,
Yeah.
there was just so much about and it definitely was. And I don't have anything wrong with it, but it was definitely made on a serious budget, because there was really just one location.
Yeah, and it just wasn't like, I don't know. I mean, there are episodes of The Twilight Zone that were made for cheaper, that were better and scarier and more thought provoking and more awesome. And it was just kind of like, I mean, I get it. The dude had like a singular vision of horror. It's definitely his thing. You know what I mean? And I guess, I mean, I'm just looking at it as a movie in and of itself. Like, it's not in my opinion, not scary, and B, it's not particularly engaging. It doesn't, doesn't really make you think about anything. It's not,
Yeah, I'm one of those. I like to view movies and TV shows and all that in isolation from anything else it may be based off of. So the Hellbound Heart might be a great short story. There might be a cool world built up around Hellraiser and all of this and the Cenobites. All of that might be true, but just taken by itself as a standalone movie, as something I saw on Netflix and turned on and watched it without all of the other context, it was a bad movie.
Yeah, it was just not. Yeah, not very, just not well done, not really compelling. Just kind of a shitty script, and it seemed like a lot of it probably got edited. You know what I mean? The editing is real weird.
The original cut was going to be rated X because
of all the porn shit,
gore, and a lot more gore, and a lot more hardcore sex.
Yeah, that might have. I mean, I'm not sure it would have saved it, but
it wouldn't have saved it. It would have given things a little bit more context. Like, the scene where Frank and Julia are having sex in the flashback, that was way longer and more intense, I guess, and they had to cut it out because they would have given it an X rating.
Yeah, but the idea, I think, like, it would have, like, 'cause there's a whole kind of fetish vibe going on, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And even with the Cenobites and all those dudes,
Yeah, oh,
you know,
absolutely.
and it's kind of like if they were able to do all the sex shit they wanted to do,
Yeah,
it would have,
it would have.
you would have watched it and thought, well, geez, I need to have my brain scrubbed after watching it or whatever. But you would have gotten,
It would have made more sense.
yeah, you would like, I know what this is.
Yeah, like
what
I know what it's aiming towards.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have had to waste so much time just walking around that fucking house.
I would have liked it more if more of the movie, if they weren't going to have such a big focus on the Cenobites, which they didn't, then I think I would have liked it more if there was more of a focus on, I guess, the flashback stuff. Like, why was Frank such a huge asshole?
I agree.
Why was he an evil character? What relation does he have to his brother? I don't think they ever shared a scene together.
No.
So it's like, are they brothers? They don't need to be brothers. He could have just been a drifter.
Yeah,
Like,
totally. And not only that, but you don't get any kind of like backstory as to what happened between them that might have affected
Yeah.
how disenfranchised they are from one another at this point. You know,
right.
It was just you're supposed to accept like
You're
he's the
just-
good brother,
he's
he's the bad brother.
Yeah, he just shows up with his
You know.
switchblade, and you're like, oh, okay, he's the bad guy.
You know.
For reasons unknown.
Larry Cummings is a mild-mannered, you know what I mean? But his brother Frank, the record scratches.
Yeah.
His brother Frank has something else in store. This summer, you will know.
Yeah, and so yeah, I would have liked for there to have been more in that area, especially to build on the relationship between Frank and Larry, because it would have given me something to look to. It would have given me something to follow. Like I didn't really know whose story I was paying attention to while I was watching this. Like was it about Kay? Was it about Frank? Was it about Larry? Like because there was no real focus on
Honestly,
anyone.
if it's anyone's story, it's Julia's story, really.
Yeah,
I mean, we spent a lot more time in Julia's head.
she's the most developed character.
Yeah, and she's the only character that you don't really get a whole lot of her motivations, but you definitely, I mean,
Well,
like,
you get some.
well, I mean, you get a sense that she loves Frank and,
Yeah.
and this and that, but you don't understand anything about why she would be about to marry this one dude. And then I guess maybe because he's a bad boy and they're
Yeah, I mean-
irresistible. You know what I mean? That's enough. I don't know, but
well, play to that a little bit more, because like I could understand if it was a world where she's expected to be some prim, proper
Sure,
Stepford wife.
yeah.
She has things nagging at the back of her mind that totally puts her into the curiosity realm of the shit that Frank was into, and one day she takes the plunge and she never goes back, and she's balancing the two worlds, and she still loves Larry. Obviously, you get that through this movie, or at least some of it. And she
I
still
get
has
that she doesn't love Larry at all.
I got that she had affection for him.
It just seemed that
I didn't think that like
you
I
just
think
seen
she
her
could've-
watching boxing together. You know what I mean? And she's just kind of like, at this point, she's already murdered a bunch of dudes.
Yeah,
but
well, that's once she started murdering.
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I think the kind
the
of
thrill is gone.
yeah. And man, he's just so oblivious. What an oblivious character! Like fucking 20 dudes being murdered and a zombie up in a room and
Yeah, there's no. The funny thing is like there's blood everywhere. I mean,
Why?
there's blood all over
Blood
the place.
all over the
Yet
place.
He never sees it. He never, you know what I mean? It's weird. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, when they first go to the house, it's what does he do for a living? You would think that he would be. The house is like a crack house. It
Yeah.
should be condemned. There are roaches. There are rats. So many rats in this fucking house, and he's just cool with it. Oh, it's just some rats.
And I like that. Like there's a one room that he just doesn't go into.
Yeah, it's just
like,
one room that's
this
just
horrible fucking room. You know?
seriously off limits to him, and he's cool with that.
Yeah, he's like, I got no plans for that room. It can be a den of iniquity or whatever.
Yeah, that was. They should have. I didn't understand why they even moved into that place. To be honest, I mean, it was just it. It was an awful fucking house to begin with, and then they just. So you want to move in? Come on, let's do it. And then they move in and fucking whatever. This was a terrible movie.
Yeah, it was bad, and not in even a particularly enjoyable way. I guess if like you really, really like gore and creature design, you can be like, "This movie's a classic. What are you talking about?"
If you like
But
gore and creature design, I think you should watch some Guillermo del Toro movies.
yeah,
I
well,
think you should watch um, pretty much anything that maybe Ray Harryhausen has been involved in.
yeah, but I bet you if like you were talking to Guillermo del Toro, he'd probably be like, well,
Hellraiser
Clive
was a
Barker
yeah,
was a real a big influence.
Ugh. The character design, the creature designs were cool. I like the creature designs. I like the world design of the other world. But I'm saying that as someone that's watched the second one. Hellraiser 2 takes place almost exclusively in the alternate dimension.
Yeah.
And it looks visually awesome. And it's great design and all that stuff. If that's what you want, watch Hellraiser 2. Don't watch the first Hellraiser. If what you want is a weird made for TV almost quality of bullshit drama between three unlikable people with a third unlikable daughter, then
So like I will say that there's a movie, Amityville Horror 2, The Possession. You ever seen that movie?
there are a lot of those movies.
This one was made probably in the late 70s,
No, that I haven't seen
after
that
the
one.
first one. And,
So not the reboot.
No.
Okay.
This is made around the same time as this movie. This movie was probably made in the early 80s. But
Yeah.
Amityville Horror 2, I think
Actually,
was
this was 86.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So by this point, there was a well-established history of really excellent horror movies.
Yeah, I was just going to think, like, that movie, had no reason to be fucking, you know what I mean?
If this
Amityville
had
Horror
come out
2,
in like
but
'77,
it actually was pretty scary.
if this had, if Hellraiser had come out in '77, I think it would have been a different story. It would have been like, oh, that's kind of neat. I like for its time, and at the time in the '70s, horror movies were enraptured by slashers, or in the late '70s, early '80s, it was enraptured by slashers.
Yeah.
And this wasn't really a slasher. Like this, I don't know what genre of horror you would classify this as. It doesn't really. It's. I guess maybe that's the problem. It's barely a horror movie.
Yeah, there's not like any jump scares
No,
or anything like that.
there's not any really. There's really not even any suspense.
I mean, yeah, yeah. And I guess the idea is supposed to be scary, you know what I mean? But it's
The idea of the Cenobites.
I mean the idea of the fact that there's this dude who's reconstituting up and she's bringing people and murdering them and feeding them to him. I mean, I think that's supposed to be
But Frank was never
Scary.
threatening.
yeah.
It was like Julia was by far the most murderous character. She
was
did way
hitting
more damage
motherfuckers
than
with a hammer.
Yeah,
you know
she
what I
did
mean?
way more damage than Pinhead did.
No shit. Pinhead didn't do dick.
Pinhead didn't do a fucking thing. He just slowly walked out of a hole in the wall and then slowly walked back into it.
No shit. I mean, if he talked to Julia, he's like, "I will eat your soul." She's like, "Motherfucker, I've been killing dudes with a hammer all movie long."
I was like, "Where have you been at?"
You know, I can
Like,
give you
I
some-
got a
I
hammer.
can give you some
You
help
got a
with those
head full of nails.
Exactly.
When you got a hammer, every problem looks like a nail.
No shit.
Yeah. So yeah, she was definitely the real slasher in this movie, if ever.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was pretty shitty.
Yeah, it was a shitty movie. Do you recommend anyone watch it? I'm guessing that's going to be a no. No. And I would only say to people that are like super diehard horror fans, like people that don't seem to care about the quality of a movie if it has guts and
I
gore.
agree.
And whatnot.
I think if you're that kind of person, like you read Fangoria magazine,
Yeah.
and you're just like, look at that gore. That's so believable. It's so awesome. Look at that. That's great.
Yeah, you might like
Like
this,
those
but
two dudes from summer school. If you're those two dudes from summer school, you need to check this movie
I
out.
don't know what that is.
You ever seen Summer School?
No.
Holy shit. Never mind then, man. I don't know.
What
can't
is
explain
it?
Well, there's Chainsaw and the other dude from Summer School. Summer School's it's like a Mike Harmon movie, and or maybe is that his name, Mike Harmon? Summer School. Hold on,
It's
I'll
Google
pull it up on
time.
the computer. I mean, this is a classic. I've probably seen this movie maybe 500 times.
You're gonna have to type movie in that.
No, I don't, dude.
Oh, it's right there. 1987. 1 year after Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Is this a
Summer
comedy?
School. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mark Harmon. That. Oh yeah. So basically, a high school gym teacher has big plans for the summer, but is forced to cancel them to teach a bonehead English class for misfit goof-off students. Fortunately, his unconventional brand...
Gonna
Yeah, click.
expand that boy
Oh
a
my
little
God,
bit.
it's a fucking long ass.
No, it's just that top
Oh.
one. It's unconventional brand of teaching.
Fun field trips begins to connect with them. Who
Wait,
wrote
what?
this? Fortunately, his unconventional brand of teaching fun field trips begins to connect with them. I think Forrest Gump wrote this.
Yeah.
Steve
Somebody that didn't go to summer school.
See Steve Derby.
Steve Derby.
I watch him like email us.
Oh no. That's all right, Steve Derby. We all have those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're a big gore person, I would say maybe give it a shot. If you're interested in the world design, watch Hellraiser 2, but otherwise, no. No, there are other horror movies that you should probably watch. So last year we did Jason X. That was obviously a terrible movie right from the onset.
Yeah.
I didn't pick this movie knowing that it would be terrible, which is usually what I do here. I thought it was gonna be interesting. I thought it would be interesting at the very least. Even if it wasn't a good movie, I thought there would be a lot of interesting things to talk about.
Well, usually
around
it made that many sequels. You would think that it would have something that, it would be some
man.
amount. Yeah.
There are 9 of these movies. There are 9 of them. I can't begin to. The problem is, this isn't a franchisable concept. Like, I could get.
Devin, it is a franchisable concept.
No, it isn't.
Because it's done. It happened. We're looking back, or they made 9 of them.
And they're all.
They made one where they go to
putrid.
space. Of course they did. But there's people that fucking love this shit.
What would the concept of this? I could get like the Jason and Mike Myers based movies where, now we're going to take the slasher and put him in New York. Now we're going to take the slasher and put him in space, but
They put Hellraiser in space.
did they?
Oh, yeah. There's a Hellraiser in space.
Is really?
Yeah.
What is that one?
It's like 7 or something.
Oh, God.
Pinhead in space, dude.
Oh, I hate horror movies so much. I hate horror movies so much.
It's funny because I think that they're usually pretty terrible, but
usually
there's a few of them that are good. The Shining was really good.
When you could go back 30, 40 years, when you could get a really good one, then yeah, it could be unique. But it's just really hard to come across a really good one.
Like, did you see The Conjuring? I didn't see that.
I saw The Conjuring. I wasn't a big fan of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't really impressed by that one. And I thought about going to see Annabelle, which was like a sequel to The Conjuring.
Oh yeah, no.
But I just didn't. My heart wasn't in it.
I watched. There was a sequel to Conjuring, but I don't think Annabelle was it.
Annabelle, yeah, The Conjuring was about that doll, Annabelle.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the movie where he comes back, the dude from The Conjuring, what's his name? The actor, he was in Watchmen. What's that guy's name?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
But yeah, I believe that Annabelle. Actually, you know what? I think it was Conjuring. I think there may have been a Conjuring 2.
There is a Conjuring
and
2.
then Annabelle, which is also a sequel to that whole story because it follows that doll from The Conjuring.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Annabelle looked fucking terrible, but The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2, I heard, were actually pretty good.
But I didn't care for The Conjuring. Actually, I will say this: there's been a recent spate of indie horror films.
Yeah.
And I do try to make a point to go see those whenever I can. I haven't seen Lights Out. I wanted to see that when it was in.
I like the short film.
The short film was great. It was really well done. But I didn't get a chance to actually see that movie. I did see the other big ones. I saw Babadook. I saw It Follows. I saw M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit.
I heard that was actually quite enjoyable.
That was a really good movie.
Really?
I thought the ending was lame, but I could forgive that because I had a lot of fun watching the rest of it.
Yeah, well, I gotta see that.
It was a good movie. I was happy for him that he made something that was critically acclaimed.
At this point, you really just
his TV show.
You're rooting for him now.
You are. His TV show is supposed to be good too, but I haven't seen it.
What is the TV show?
It's called like The Pines, something Pines.
Oh yeah, Wayward Pines.
Wayward Pines,
possibly.
yeah.
Yeah, the guys from Stranger Things, originally were writers on that show.
Yeah.
So we actually have M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong to blame or to thank for Stranger Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things does the concept of Hellraiser way better.
Oh, Stranger Things
way
does
better.
most concepts way better.
Way better.
Most things.
But yeah, so I thought the Babadook was interesting. Didn't really care too much for it. But
Have
I
you
thought
seen
it was.
Goodnight Mommy?
No, I haven't. You told me about that last time.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I haven't seen it either. It just sounds. I think I figured out what happens at the end. But
when did that one come out?
last year. Supposedly it's good. It's
Is it
about these-
American made?
No, it's
or-
German.
Oh shit!
Or Norwegian or something, man.
Oh, that's even worse.
It is, dude. Sweden,
The
and
further,
Denmark,
the
and
further
Norway.
north in Europe that you go, the crazier and crazier that shit
The
gets.
darker,
That is the darker
yeah.
and grimmer. That's like going to the land of always winter with the fucking
Exactly.
whites up there and shit. No. I keep my European horror closer to Morocco.
Italy.
Yeah, Italy and Morocco.
France, Italy, yeah.
Where they're generally happy people.
Yeah.
You know?
Suspiria. It's about as European as I go.
I did like Let the Right One In. That was Swedish.
Yeah.
And also grisly and dark, but not bleak. It was dark, but not bleak.
Yeah, this movie sounds fucking bleak, dude. I'll give you
Yeah.
the premise. So there's these two twins, right? And their mom goes to have plastic surgery on her face. And she comes back. And her face is completely covered up with bandages.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, shit's not right with their mom. And they're both like trying to figure out like what the fuck's going on with mom. You know what I mean? What is this? Is this even our mom? Because I can't see your face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the whole.
So I guess she
Stuff
keeps
happens.
her face wrapped the
Yeah,
entire time.
It's all wrapped up. Yeah.
Oh man, that's
Sounds. The premise just sounds horrible.
yeah, that sounds.
I think I know actually because I heard there was a twist ending or something, and I
Yeah.
think I put together what the twist ending is, but I'm
She
not gonna
takes it
tell
off,
you.
and it's M. Night Shyamalan.
Yes. They're
and
in
he goes,
space.
"What a twist!"
They're in space.
Yeah, I'll have to add that to my list. Yeah, well, you know what? It's Halloween, I believe. Is it? Well, maybe not. We're 30 minutes away
30
from
minutes
it.
away.
30 minutes away from it officially being Halloween. So it falls on a Monday this year. Everybody's probably done all their partying already, but that shouldn't stop you from finding a good horror movie to watch on the night of. Strike Hellraiser from that list.
Yeah.
You will bum yourself out and ruin your Halloween.
Actually,
evening.
there's a video game you could play, Until Dawn.
If you've got
Play that.
that's a PS4 game, right?
It is,
You
yeah.
got a PS4. Until Dawn is supposed to be really good.
It is legitimately pretty scary, and completely different than like a Silent Hill or, your regular survival horror. It's a completely kind of different, kind of almost more similar to like the Telltale style games.
Yeah. Wait, Telltale didn't release a horror game recently,
Well,
did
they have Walking Dead.
They do have Walking Dead, but I
So,
thought I thought something
They have
similar
they have
to
a
that.
Batman game right
They
now.
do have a
that
Batman
just
game.
came out.
You can't rarely can you go wrong with the Batman game, but that's not really a Halloween thing.
No.
Until Dawn, that's a good suggestion. If I was gonna toss out a horror movie suggestion to watch tomorrow, I would probably say watch The Poltergeist.
The original one.
Yes, that's my favorite. Well, Poltergeist 2, I also really like that.
Poltergeist 2, yeah, has that creepy old.
It
dude
has the
in
creepy old dude, and that
creepy
guy,
old dude
that guy
is-
freaked me the
yeah,
fuck out when I was a kid.
I think I just saw like a little bit
Because he
from
sang that
Poltergeist.
song.
Yes, I saw about 7 minutes of Poltergeist 2 when I was like 10 years old or 9 years old, and then that 7 minutes was him singing that song walking
Yeah.
down the street, and that shit deeply disturbed me.
Yes, that ruined me for a really long time after I watched that movie. But but then I watched Coached with Craig T. Nelson, and I was like, oh, this guy's delightful. And then I went back and watched it, and I was like, oh, Coach. So
Was he in Coach?
yeah, he was the guy. He was the coach in Coach,
Craig T. Nelson was the dude from fucking.
the TV show.
Yeah,
Or what-
Poltergeist. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought
Poltergeist.
you meant the old priest guy was in Coach. I
Oh,
was like, what?
No. Well, maybe I don't know, but that would have freaked me out if he showed
Yeah,
up.
that would have ruined Coach.
That would have ruined Coach.
Yeah, I really liked Coach 2 back in the day when it was on TV.
Yeah.
It was just a shame that, he's turned out to be such a right-wing
Yeah,
douchebag.
he's a huge right wing douchebag. Some of my favorite comedians are though, but I would say watch Poltergeist. That's my suggestion for you.
My suggestion would be watch, obviously The Shining, can't ever go wrong with that. And then The Exorcist is really scary. You
Shining
can't
and
go
The
on with
Exorcist
that.
are.
But I would also suggest The Changeling with George C. Scott from 1979, and get that shit on YouTube. Just put Changeling in there, and it's not the one with what's her name, married to Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie. It's
Oh,
not.
was
It's not
she
the.
in
It's
one?
not the. Yeah, she
Hey,
was
what
in
was that ScarJo movie
Scott. Oh, which one?
where she was like an alien that was hitchhiking with truckers or something?
Oh no, that was Under the Skin, which I never
Under the
saw.
Skin. Oh, you never saw
My
that?
brother
Okay.
saw it and said it was terrible, but you never know.
Hmm.
My brother also hated 28 Days Later, and I actually liked 28 Days Later.
28. I would recommend that one too. That's also a good one.
Yeah.
28 Weeks Later, maybe a little less so.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. Changeling's good, underrated, and you'll never. And it's one of those movies that no one's ever heard about, so it's always fun. I always enjoy movies like that where it's like, oh damn, that was fun. That's it. I think we got one day left. You can see any of those three movies.
Yeah.
Play Until Dawn. Until Dawn's pretty scary by the end. You got to get through some stuff. It's cheesy on purpose at certain points. You know what I mean? It's just like
I've only seen a little bit of it. I've seen people play it a little bit, and it just it seems scary, the parts that I had seen. But then a lot of the conversational parts where the kids talking to each other, it seems
there are
like
moments where you're just like, can someone just kill her? Where are the bad guys? You know what I mean?
yeah, it's kind of a. It seemed like the non-parody Tucker and Dale kind of thing. But I would recommend that if you want something to laugh at that kind of makes fun of horror movies. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It's a fantastic movie.
I've not seen that. So
I think you should put that on your queue.
Yep. I'm gonna go watch Westworld though here in a second.
Yeah, I think I kind of bailed on that one.
You bailed on Westworld?
I may jump back to it, but I didn't like the first episode, and the second one was better. But after that, I just didn't have the heart to get back to it. I'll get back to it eventually, though.
Yeah,
But-
I thought the first episode was kind of mediocre, and then I
Yeah.
thought the second episode was good. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm in. Third episode, not as good as the second. Fourth episode, not as good as I thought. That second episode was really good. It kind of saved the show for me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, I was like, oh, this is the first episode should have been.
And that's kind of how I felt about that episode too.
Yeah, and so I got me back on. The other two episodes, they're kind of like Lost. They just kind of they're building into the I watched Lost,
Yeah.
so they're building into the mythology of the show. They weren't maybe the most brilliant episodes by themselves, but they weren't like terrible either. But they're building on to the mysteries. You know what I mean? So
All right. Well, you know what? If you're not watching a horror movie, I guess you could always catch up on Westworld. That's it for us, though, guys. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Oh.